Good evening and a very warm welcome to Radio and Television Tonga news package for Friday the 16th of September. Leading our bulletin for the hour, Prime Minister Nuku'alofa Liku proposed U.S. government for collaboration on an appropriate reintegration program for deputies. Government of Japan signs with the government of Tonga a handover of the completion of Tonga Broadcasting Commission's new building this morning. And the first cruise ship to arrive in Tonga since border closure will be on the first week of next month. We'll have these and more stories later on in the bulletin. Now I'm Mafonado Bola with the stories in detail. The Honourable Prime Minister held a bilateral meeting with the U.S. Deputy Secretary of State, Her Excellency Wendy Sherman, during the Pacific Island Conference of Leaders that is held in Honolulu, Hawaii. The meeting discussed the area of priority for Tonga, including a proposal from the Prime Minister Nuku'alofa Liku to the U.S. government for collaboration on an appropriate program for deputies. The meeting discussed areas of priority for Tonga, including a proposal from the Prime Minister Nuku'alofa Liku to the U.S. government for collaboration on an appropriate reintegration program for deputies. Nuku'alofa Liku told Radio and Television Tonga News this morning the purpose of the proposal is so deputies could be rehabilitated before they are deported to Tonga. In addition, it aims to teach deputies fluent Tongan language since they were brought up in a foreign country where the culture and environment is different. And so Nuku'alofa Liku hopes that deputies are first introduced to Tongan culture and traditions before they are deported back to Tonga. Meanwhile, other areas of discussion during the meeting included proposing the establishment of a Pacific regional mechanism to facilitate accessibility to green climate funds, improving the processing of U.S. visa application at the U.S. Embassy in Fiji, and strengthening efforts to combat illegal fishing and overfishing within Tonga's EEZ. The Honourable Prime Minister also emphasised the importance of providing opportunities for Tongan students to attend universities in the United States that have advanced education systems. Meanwhile, the U.S. Deputy Secretary of State says they will follow up on the issue and other key announcements made during the conference. However, as the 12th Pacific Islands Conference of Leaders meeting closes today, Prime Minister Nuku'alofa Liku and his delegation will head to the United States for other meetings, including the first Pacific Leaders bilateral meeting with the U.S. President Joe Biden. The Ministry of Tourism confirmed that cruise ships will arrive on the 3rd of October for the first time since border closure to all airlines and sea travel due to the pandemic COVID-19. Mark Ake takes up that story.
A senior officer from the Ministry of Tourism, Anaseni Manuopangai, said that they had discussed the issues regarding border policies of the Ministry of Health and they have submitted a plan to Cabinet. The Paul Gauguin cruise ship will be the first to visit Tonga and was a local visitor in the past years. Manuopangai added, it has been 2.5 years since the arrival of cruise ships were suspended, and there are plans and arrangements in place to prepare a special welcome for when the cruise ship arrives next month. Tonga is currently in the COVID-19 orange light restriction, and tourists are still required to follow Ministry of Health policy and procedures, such as having their immunization cards and their rat tests shown 24 hours before they can tour the country. This is also an opportunity for tourism businesses to earn more money by selling their handicraft to tourists, which will also raise the economy of the country.
There is great concern regarding the value of our Tongan language and culture, as most people try to keep up with the progress and development of our history. Mark Ake takes up that story.
The former president of the Education Ministry of Free Wesleyan Church of Tonga, Reverend Dr. Meleana Bloka, says there is a growing lack of education where students are taught the significance in school of a Tongan language and culture. She says that children need to know and learn the English language to help with their studies and also for them to explore the developments in other countries. However, Reverend Dr. Bloka wishes to emphasize to the public, especially the students, that they are the future of Tonga and they should first know the things that matter the most to them as Tongans. Meanwhile, many schools in Tongatapu highlighted the importance of a Tongan Language and Culture Week by wearing Tongan traditional attires and performing traditional dances, and to help students maintain our language and culture for the future generations. The Tongan language, apart from the Nuku'alofa, dialect is a tiered language having three categories for the king, nobilities, and commoners or the people. The main concern is that if the Tongan people won't prioritize the Tongan language by speaking the language at home with their children, the Tongan language would eventually vanish. It could also result in the loss of Tongan values, customs, and culture. Reporting for Radio and Television Tonga News, I'm Alice Tupo.
Although the National Climate Change Awareness Week will begin this Sunday, the Ministry of Medik in Ewa has started a tree planting program at the coastal areas to celebrate the special week. Mark Ake will tell you more on that story.
The government representative from Ewa, Lolo Manaia Fili, says the island is vulnerable to natural disasters and climate change, and they are delighted to have the opportunity to grow trees at their coastal areas. He says the National Climate Change Awareness Week is a very important occasion as it will help the people be more aware of the impacts of climate change so they can implement actions that can minimize its impacts, such as coastal erosion. The program saw the planting of coconut trees by participants from the Agriculture Ministry in Ewa and students from Ewa High School. Philly hopes the students could learn something from the program. The tree planting program was launched in 2021 by the British High Commissioner to Tonga, Her Excellency Lucy Joyce, with the aim of achieving the goal of Tonga's second national commitment that by 2023, 1 million trees would be planted in coastal areas throughout Tonga. The theme for this year's National Climate Change Awareness Week is Building a Resilient Tonga.
The government of Japan signed this morning with the government of Tonga the handover of the Tonga Broadcasting Commission's new building following its completion to be commissioned late this month. Alice Tupo takes up that story.
Chief Consultant of the construction project Kobayashi Tatsuya and the CEO of Medik Paula Ma'o signed the completion of construction of the Tongan Broadcasting Commission's new building, which has been fully equipped for broadcasting and operation. The construction for the new building started in 2019 and was completed in 2020. However, due to COVID-19, technicians from Japan weren't able to travel to Tonga to complete the work. It was then delayed until this year and will finally be commissioned on the 27th of this month. The CEO for the Ministry of Medik, Paula Ma'o, thanked the government of Japan for all the hard work in constructing the building. This project is under the Nationwide Early Warning System Project, or NEWS. Mao also thanked the government of Japan for the new broadcasting equipment, and he conveyed that the government of Tonga is looking forward towards a better broadcasting in the future. At the same time, an automatic tune unit inside the existing AM radio tower at Papua. This enables the AM radio station to broadcast smoothly, not only here in Tongatapu but also in the outer islands all the way to the Tuniwas. Tatsuya says that they are excited because this building was used as a place of refuge for the people of Fasmoyafi to evacuate to during January's devastation when tsunami waves came across in the coastal areas. Tatsuya says that the new facility was designed to withstand natural disasters. Reporting for Radio and Television Tonga News, I'm Alice Tupo.
And the Ex-Students Association of Ewa High School has raised 1.1 million paanga after 4 months of fundraising in the island. The fundraising program aims to raise money for the construction of a new technical and vocational education training center and also to provide new brass band equipment for the school. The Vice Chair of the Ex-Students Association, Aloine Lupehamvea, told Radio Tonga News the fundraising program has been ongoing since June with the support from the school's ex-students on Nihon and the Ewa community. Aloine Lupehamvea added that the ex-students managed to collect 1.1 million paanga with only 4 months of fundraising in the island alone, which brought smiles and excitement to the people of the island. Meanwhile, a Thanksgiving ceremony was held yesterday at the school to celebrate the funds that were raised. Havea wishes to acknowledge the people of Ewa who were able to contribute to the Nihon ex-students fundraiser and all related stakeholders. From the 1.1 million paanga raised, 130,000 paanga has been put aside to purchase new brass band equipment for the school, and it will arrive by the end of the year. Afterwards, the Ministry of Education will send a bandmaster to the school in the next academic year. Meanwhile, planning and preparation of the construction of the new Tibet building has been also kicked off. However, the ex-students' fundraising is the beginning of the events project in developing the school and future maintenance upgradation. That wraps up this evening's news package, but before we part, here's one final look at today's top stories. Prime Minister Nuku'alofa proposed the U.S. government for collaboration on an appropriate reintegration program for Tibetees. Government of Japan signs with the government of Tonga following the completion of Tonga Broadcasting Commission's new building this morning. And the first cruise ships to arrive in Tonga since border closure will be on the first week of next month. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for your company. I'm Bafanato Bola. Good evening.